welcome to Relationships and Astrology. I'm Armand Diaz in New York.
And I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin, Ireland.
And Margaret, we have a big shift. We have two big shifts this week. We have Mars, the planet of action and drive, moving into the sign of Aquarius. And then we have Venus, the planet we most associate with relationships, love, and beauty, moving into the sign of Capricorn.
Yes, indeed. It's quite a big shift, really, because Mars moving from Capricorn into Aquarius, there's quite a feel that it's a much lighter energy, but also less of a personal energy, much more of a collective energy, where the kind of dynamics, the sense of wanting to take action feels very directed towards groups rather than on a one-to-one.
It is not the most personal energy, for sure. And Mars, the warrior, all of that drive and energy puts its energy towards an ideal, towards something for the community. And I think given circumstances this week, we're liable to see a great deal of that. And I think that it will, in a way, take us away from personal stuff and relativize things a little bit.
Yes, I think it's also, it's very much a mental energy rather than a practical energy. And when we think of Mars as a planet that likes to take action, and in relationship, it really, with others, it likes to decide what actions to take. But here it feels like it's more, a lot of thinking is going to be going on, and a lot of kind of in those realms, as you said, idealism, ideas, the mental area really, rather than practical action, which can be a little frustrating for Mars at times. We may experience a little bit of frustration.
Also, too, Aquarius is a fixed sign, and Mars in Aquarius is principled, not necessarily your principles. And so there can be a little bit of rigidity in terms of how we're acting. It's all because it's what we feel is right, not necessarily what I want, you understand. And that can cause a little bit of a friction in relationships, because it's not about you and me, it's about what's right.
Yes, and people have different ideas of what's right, and I think there could be, of course, issues that come up within relationships if different people have, different thoughts about that within families, even with work colleagues, or on a one-to-one basis.
And how about Venus and Capricorn? This is a big shift from the sort of outgoing party sign of Sagittarius into Capricorn, Saturn sign.
Indeed, it feels like it kind of drops from the sky, where, the Sag is up in the sky and suddenly it drops down on Earth. So it's much more of an earthy sign.
I think the emphasis with Venus and Capricorn has that ability to sort of look at things in the long term, the kind of slow, and if there's some delays, handles it really well. And it is a very practical, earthy type of sign. The other thing, though, is that when Venus is in Capricorn, she's going to meet Pluto, she's going to square Uranus, and I feel that some of those energies that are coming up are likely to be really kind of challenging for relationships. Venus in Capricorn, a little bit traditional, certainly wants something that is sort of solid, and then here comes Pluto and Uranus. Maybe solid isn't necessarily what Venus is going to get.
It certainly feels like there's not very much that's solid at the moment, and I think that can put pressure on relationships, because there's so much going on in the external world that, of course, then it impinges on what's going on internally as well. I think one of the things with Venus in Capricorn is really just to keep grounded and centered in oneself. I think it's a very private Venus. That's one of the differences as well, that it's very much, and it is very concerned with authenticity. So I think if people can try individually to keep centered in who they are, that can really help within in relating with in terms of relationships.
The other aspect that comes to mind is Venus is going to square Jupiter, which is in Venus's one of her home signs of Libra, and that suggests to me that's even hard aspects. I think between Venus and Jupiter tend to be not the hardest possible aspect, but it suggests to me the sort of diplomatic approach to things. A little bit of bargaining, a little bit of back and forth.
Yes, that could happen and would be certainly useful. I think the key ingredients really with these two planets is also going to be just to remember to have patience and compassion, because there are a lot of pressures going on, you know, all around. And so not to kind of scapegoat relationships, you know, in terms of what's happening externally. So to use really the most expansive version of the Venus in Capricorn and of the Mars in Aquarius. And then I think that can be, you know, for the benefit of everyone that's relating together.
I would say compassion and a little bit of perspective is always a good thing. And hopefully the planets in these signs are going to help us with that.
Absolutely. And we look forward to talking more about also Mars incompatibility in our next YouTube recording. So tune in for that. Thank you.
All right, take care, Margaret.
Bye-bye, Armand.